In our last segment, we had the man in charge of Sun Devil Triathlon, Coach English, joined us. In this segment, it's one of Coach English's national champions sitting in the chair. 2022 individual triathlon national champion Amber Schlebusch sits down with us. Amber, welcome. Thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me.
How is your season going so far? Of course, you got the national championships coming up this weekend right here in Tempe.
Yes, this is actually one of the, I would say, main races that we kind of planned out for this year. So I'm very excited to race this weekend. But yeah, the season's been long. I started all the way back in like February, so definitely a little bit excited for off season. But yeah, I've had, as much as I'm focusing a lot on my senior year, and I'd like to go out with a bang at national champs. I have also been focusing a bit on accumulating Olympic points because the Olympics only come around every 4 years as well. So, I'm going to try to give myself a fair shot at that. So I've been doing a bit of racing all over the place. And I'm excited to kind of end off. I think it's quite cool that I get to end off the season with a bunch of girls that have literally dragged me through this entire season and have been like by my side the entire way. So yeah, I'm excited for this weekend, and the season has been great so far. We've been building, so I think something special is going to happen.
Awesome. Last year you finished the national championship with a time of 1 hour, 3 minutes and 41 seconds. Good for the individual national championship title. What was that moment like for you?
Wow, that was it was pretty surreal. I remember, like, I do a lot of visualization to kind of prepare, and I was struggling a little bit to like visualize what it would be like to run down the finish chute in first place, and to do that with like, I think it was almost a minute back to the second athlete, so to be able to actually absorb that moment and the crowds. And my mom had traveled all the way from South Africa, and my boyfriend had traveled from Hawaii, so I had some of the biggest supporters in my support system there, like on the side screaming for me. And that feeling was, it was crazy. I crossed the line and I just like collapsed onto my knees, and I was just like crying, and I was like, oh my gosh, I've actually done this. Like it's a very big achievement. And I think once I had done it, like, Coach mentioned earlier, you kind of get to just, when you rest for a bit and digest it, you're like, oh wow, that was truly something special that I did out there.
You mentioned visualizing what you go through in a race. I think that's an interesting point. What goes into that, and how important is that for triathlon racing?
I think, it's something that I actually think is more self-taught. I kind of just enjoy it. It's as simple as like, putting some headphones in before training, and just kind of, focusing a little bit on what kind of session you're going to have, or even while you're training, like in the pool, I'll be swimming and visualize like there's a front pack that's slightly ahead. Like you gotta keep going so that you make that, like just like behind the front pack, so you're able to make it. I think visualization's been something that has really helped me kind of focus before a race, and also kind of makes me feel a bit calm. Amongst racing, tensions are very high and it is very stressful, but finding something to focus on, almost like picturing that I've done this before, like I've done this before because I've pictured it a million times in my head, so I'm going to be okay and everything's going to be fine out there. You know what you're doing. Yeah. You
finished sixth in the national championship back in 2021. That was with a time of 1 hour, 6 minutes and 5 seconds. You were the first team All-American in that season. Next year, you won the national championship. What has been the most important factor in your growth and success here at ASU?
Yeah, I didn't even know, honestly, I didn't even know that my time had improved by that much. So it's pretty cool to actually hear that. It's almost like 3 minutes. So that's truly cool to hear. But I would say the team, like how the team has progressed every single year, and also responsibility. I see like the younger athletes come in, and I often think like, wow, that was me freshman year, which also feels like yesterday. I can't believe I'm a senior. But yeah, I'll kind of like see them come in, and I'll want to be better also for them, to be like, well, it's cool when you have someone to kind of follow and lead by example. So it's awesome to kind of be that figure, and I think that that's helped me grow, just giving me more responsibility, and even like captaining the team this year. I know that a lot of people do look up to me, and that motivates me to be a little bit better. And obviously the coaches and the support staff, like when I say team, I actually mean like the entire team. So like medical staff, coaches, even like our assistant coach, Jarena English, like everybody that's a part of the support system has helped me get to where I am and achieved, what I did last year, and hopefully, get to repeat something special this year too.
Yeah, big plans ahead, that's for sure. You're from South Africa. What's it like to grow up in South Africa? How did you get hooked on triathlon, and how did you get brought here to ASU?
My mom's actually going to love this because this is actually, she's the reason I got into it.
Awesome.
Yeah, I kind of grew up swimming and kind of just distanced myself a little bit from that when I reached about age 14, and have always been a pretty natural runner. And my mom was like, she was doing Ironmans, which incredibly long days out. It's about like 12 hours of racing. So she's slightly crazy. But yeah, she was like, well, I do triathlons. Why don't we just enter you in something fun on the weekend? We do it with some friends. And let's just say I like never looked back from there. I was like, wow, this is probably the most painful thing I've ever done. But it's also the most exciting and has been the best experience that I've had in the sporting realm. So that's pretty much how I got into it. And then competitively, it's just, I think I'm competitive in nature. I enjoy competition, and I saw that I wanted to improve, every single time I did race. And then, with the help of my mom and the support system, I was able to kind of branch out a little bit and go to, race in different countries as well, which got my name out there on the board, which I'm pretty sure is what, kind of sparked me coming to ASU, was doing really well at the 2018 Youth Olympics, and that got my name on the board. And then, we communicated with Coach Cliff English, and, now here I am. If you'd asked me that at 14, after that first triathlon, would I be here? I would have no idea. It's been kind of a whirlwind of experiences, basically, yeah.
And I feel like I buried the lead a little bit. You, of course, you're an Olympic gold medalist at the youth level, as you just mentioned, back in the 2018 Summer Youth Olympics. What was that experience like, and how awesome was that for you?
I remember kind of using that motivation, like the feeling of running down like the finish chute there and picking up the banner. I mean, the finish photos are pretty funny because I'm bawling my eyes out as I'm holding the banner above my head. My mom was like screaming on the side, but that kind of picture is something that has definitely motivated me in the races that I did afterwards, because there's nothing that beats that feeling. And every day I train, and every day I wake up and put myself on like a start line. I want to feel that feeling again. It's kind of like you just want to chase it. And there's obviously lots of highs and lows in sports, but when you have those highs, they're pretty amazing. To have your people around you and to experience that is something truly special.
It was the first gold medal and first medal in triathlon for your country, South Africa. Got to be so much pride in that for you. What's it like to compete for your country?
Yeah, I mean, it's really special. I know, South Africa is a very small country, pretty far south, very far from here. So to be able to represent a country that I grew up in and that all my friends and family are still living there, even representing them now after I've lived in the States, it's very cool. And I'm able to, go to these races abroad, and I'm not alone because I've gone through, the junior rankings with other people that are in my country. So I then see them again, and I haven't seen them for about 6 months to like a year because I've been here in the States, and it's kind of just like going back into old stomping grounds. It's very comforting. Hearing a South African accent, even that alone is so comforting. So yeah, it feels, I feel privileged to be able to represent my country. Yeah. That's
awesome, awesome. Off the course and into the classroom for a little bit, you were named to the 2021 Fall Academic Honor Roll in the Pac-12. What are you studying, and what do you plan to do with your degree?
That's a great question. I have no idea what I'm going to do with it yet, but I am studying biomedical sciences.
Oh my, wow.
So yeah, initially when I joined ASU, I had big visions to go to medical school, and that door, I wouldn't say it's completely closed, but at least for the meantime, I've done really well over the past 4 years that I've been here, and I've progressed a lot in the sport of triathlon. So I would like to give myself the opportunity, once I've graduated, to dip my toes into the, the big professional world, see how I kind of fare there, and then take it, pretty much from there and see, do I want to study further? Because my degree does kind of, promote further studying, whether it's PT school or PA school, or if I want to go into full-blown medical school, so be it. But I think the end goal is that I want to be able to hopefully work with athletes, whether it's, with the medical side of things or the mental side of things. I don't really know quite yet, but either way, I think I've got a lot of experience and knowledge that I would like to pass on to, younger generations that maybe I wish that I could have known at, that age 14 at my first triathlon.
Yeah, that's awesome. This weekend, of course, national championships. We've talked about it so much. Your team seeks that number 7 in a row. What's it going to take from the group to stay out top?
Honestly, just to perform how they do every day at training. I like to reference it as like this is just another day of training. Obviously, it's one of the biggest training sessions you're ever going to have. But in order to, calm the mind a little bit and take the pressure off, because there is a lot of pressure. You feel like you have a target on your back because people want to take you down. You're a 6 times national championship team. To kind of just take that pressure off and say, well, like I train with these girls every single day and I fare pretty well. So I think we're going to be okay. Like this is just another day where you're putting yourself all out there and you're absolutely crossing the line, collapsing, and you're absolutely exhausted. We do that every day anyway. So it's just another one of those days. And stay ambitious, stay hungry. Like Coach said, we're definitely a hungry team this year. And stay enthusiastic and excited. I think focusing on those positive emotions rather than, nerves are good, but rather focusing on that excitement than nervousness, I think is going to be a big up on our side.
Well, Amber, thank you very much for joining us. Good luck this weekend. We'll be following along.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Coming up next on the Anderson Healey Show, we welcome back ASU Athletic Director Ray Anderson to the show for more updates on Sun Devil athletics. This is the Anderson Healey Show on the Mountain America Credit Union Sun Devil Radio Network.